Okay, how's everybody doing? It's Paul with Bullfrog Nutrition, and I've got Dr. Jeff Golini here with me. Dr. Jeff and I just had some major technical problems to overcome with the computer and the TV and everything, but we did it. We're here. We're hairnet and everything. We're here, and I just told Dr. Golini that there aren't that many people I think that can pull off the hairnet, and he does it just phenomenally. So it looks great.
You're so kind.
It looks great.
Sorry about the headset and stuff, but I'm back in the lab office, and this is all I have back here. So
it looks awesome. We love it. So what we're going to talk about today is, just kind of, I think, a side of the industry that is not discussed nearly enough, and I think you agree with that, Dr. Golini. But one of the things that I point out to people when they come into the store is just the overall quality of the products, the company that they're buying. Where does the trust come from in the company that you're buying and investing your hard-earned money in? Is it just from some Instagram famous person that posted online about this product working, or is there actually science behind what you're buying? And that's something I think more people need to pay attention to. So Dr. Golini, as some of you know and some of you might not know, owns EFX Sports, which we sell a ton of here at Bullfrog, but also All American Pharmaceutical, which is a very, very well-known, very well-respected manufacturing plant. And Dr. Golini, that's what I want to talk about today is, more on the manufacturing side. People pay so much attention when they're dieting to where their food comes from. Where is it sourced? Where is it bought? Locally? Is it being shipped here? Why is it you think people don't pay as much attention to where their supplements are coming from? Because that's filtered by the same body that filters your food. So why do you feel people don't pay as much attention to that?
That's a good question. That's something that has puzzled me for many, many years. Especially athletes who are so concerned about, the highest quality food, like you said, making sure that, it's cooked properly. And then supplements are sort of an afterthought. I'll just go buy the cheapest. Folks, that would be like you going to the dollar store and buying a can of tuna fish. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was training, I didn't buy my tuna at the dollar store. I tried to get a good deal, but I always made sure it was Star-Kissed because, again, I wanted to make sure that it did contain the protein. So, Paul, I think sometimes it's price. People, spend their money on food. They spend their money on clothes to look good, and then whenever they have left over, they'll go buy some supplements. So a lot of times they just buy the cheapest stuff, knowing that it doesn't do anything, but they continue to hope it does. And that is my definition for insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, hoping to get different results, right?
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it's something that really needs to be brought to light quite a bit more in this industry. And with All American Pharmaceutical, me looking for a manufacturer for abiotic factors for a while, and we've kind of touched on that before, the difficulties that we had finding someone that seems well respected in the industry before we finally landed with you guys. But what sets All American Pharmaceutical apart? I mean, what type of processes and what type of tests do the products from All American Pharmaceutical go through that maybe other products don't go through?
We function at a very high standard, more like a drug company. So, when you look at our facility, the way it's designed, the way it's set up, our on-site lab, which is actually a third-party testing lab, we do testing for other companies, we have gone above and beyond. And the reason is I started as a brand like you. I just happened to make some good choices and was able to get into the manufacturing. But still having a brand, I always wanted to produce things at the highest quality. Number one, because I take everything that, I manufacture, now maybe not everything at the same time, but I want them to be at the highest quality. And that's why I started into the business back in 1985, was to provide, alternatives to drugs, provide alternatives to what was being produced on out in the marketplace. So again, quality is what it's about. Whether you're talking about, clothing or cars, Again, you want your supplements to be made in the USA. You need to know where they're produced at, and you need to know what type of quality control standards do they have in place. Are they testing everything? Are they making sure that it's safe and meets label claim? And that's what we do every day, all day. And as I always tell people, they always say, well, why do you do so much? And it's kind of become my tagline, because I like to sleep good at night. I don't worry about nothing.
Right, everything is done, correctly. And
it is. When Lou Ferrigno once, somebody asked him why you look so good, and he said, I don't have any skeletons. And we're the same way. We're very transparent. Anybody can come in and tour our facility. Where most facilities, they won't allow you to tour. And there's a reason, because they don't want you to see how things are being done. But at the end of the day, there is no secret equipment. It's all about, you seeing the processes, seeing the cleanliness, seeing the organization, and that's what you see here, and that's why the output is the highest quality available.
Right, and I think that really speaks volumes that you're outspoken about owning the manufacturing facility, where it is. We even put the logo with Abiotic Factors. We even put the logo right on our label. I think that's something that really should speak volumes to people. And can we talk a little bit about that as well? I mean, I've told some of our customers that have come in that are regulars, kind of the process of finding a manufacturer and what you have to go through. And, can you speak a little bit about what exactly are the steps to, finding a manufacturer, and then what do some of them make you go through in order to hide who's making the products?
Most of the products that you buy, they don't make them. Everybody claims that their products are being made. Someday I'll tell you some funny stories about some of the brands out there. But I think you gotta do some investigation. If you're looking to have a product made, number one, go visit them. Check out their reputation. Again, anybody can build a beautiful website and give you lots of pictures, but the first question you should say is, hey, I'd like to come and audit you or visit you. If they openly say, sure, absolutely, that's number one. If they say, oh, well, we're secret, we don't allow that, or we're too busy right now, then that should be a check mark on it. Number two, you should find out, does your manufacturer give you a certificate of analysis, which is a complete breakdown of all the testing? Do you get product specification sheets? A lot of them will say, oh, no, that cost extra. You have to pay extra for the testing. Again, check mark. And I think the third thing is, like you experienced, do they have good customer service? I mean, do they call you back?
Right. Yeah, that's a good step.
But those are three things. I mean, even when I was getting started, before I was in manufacturing, I had the same issues back when I started, trying to talk to somebody, trying to get somebody to make what I wanted. I was tired of giving somebody a formula and then them turn around going, well, here, this is what we have, but we'll put your label on it. And I'm like, well, no, that's not what I want. I want this. So again, there's a lot of good manufacturers and there's a lot of bad ones that fly under the radar because they haven't been inspected. Therefore, they aren't following the same standards that we follow here at All American Pharmaceutical.
What type of inspections do you go through on a regular basis at All American Pharmaceutical?
Ooh, too many. So, we're FDA regulated. So FDA is in here almost once a year. We are in a rotation that is crazy, and that's usually a good week out of the year. They will come in and go through everything. We're also a USDA certified facility, so we'll have a yearly USDA inspection. We have a Board of Pharmacy license and a DEA license because of the drug testing that we do to ensure none of the products contain any drugs. So then we have those two bodies inspecting us. And then on top of that, if we haven't been inspected enough, we actually pay people to come in and inspect us. So we have several third-party auditors that we pay. And the reason is again, we want to make sure that we get different eyeballs taking a look at what we're doing to make sure that we are doing everything right. So it just adds to accountability, when you can pay auditors to come in like UL and Natural Products Association, Informed Choice, Informed Sport. We also have the Montana Manufacturing Board, and then just our local food license and Board of Health. So any given time you come by here that month, there probably is going on or somebody was just here.
That's really nice to know. It's kind of reassuring, to say the least, that there's so much going on. So what I also want to talk about with Dr. Golini is a little bit about himself. He's a very humble man, and I think a lot of people know who he is, but don't exactly know the background of the man himself. And I can tell you guys from personal experience, with a kind of a business casual relationship with him, he's just really changed the outlook of not only my career but also Gabby's, and it's been life changing to meet this man. So what I wanted to tell you guys is, and he's a very humble individual. He's not someone to brag, but I'm going to make him talk about himself here a little bit. What exactly are your qualifications, Dr. Golini, and also the board of people that you work with that also looks into the formulas of the products? What are the qualifications there?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. It is hard talking about yourself, but I think, my biggest asset is just my experience. When you have, I always say when you've walked the walk, it's easy to talk the talk. I've played football, basketball, track, successful high school career. I went on to a successful college career. I had a successful bodybuilding career, and then I got into the science. But I was always interested in science, in college, high school. So that really got me into, where I am. But people ask all the time, well, how can you be an expert in everything? And I say I'm not, but I align myself with the best of the best. So, I know what I'm good at and what I do. But when you look at my team, I have other PhDs who specialize in other areas. I have medical doctors that I will review things with. I have a complete clinical board. I have a clinical director who handles all of my clinical trials. So, I invent things, but then I have to turn to others to make sure that it is safe. It's not going to counteract with other drugs. And then I need to prove that it's safe. So, my team won't allow me to bring something out until we have run some clinical trials. So when you look at any of my branded ingredients like carbolin or Crealclin, you will find everything from toxicology studies all the way through clinical data. And most of them have peer-reviewed research that's been published. I think I've been published now about 10 or 11 times. So, again, that just kind of adds to the credibility of what we do. And again, why? Because it's fun. It's fun to really look into something and be able to prove that something works and that something's different. I love giving out information. So by publishing the research, there's no secrets. If you want to see what it's about, what it does, what happened, you can go read at PubMed or any of the periodicals on our site, that this research has been published. So nothing is secret.
I love it. And then so also the physical attributes, if you guys don't know, Dr. Golini had a really successful bodybuilding career where at one point he had at least 21-inch arms. So, I mean, to me, that's pretty impressive.
We didn't measure back then because, again, it was before the digital age, so there weren't a lot of cameras around, and we trained at 4 a.m. to avoid, the photographers that would come in and try to steal our pictures and, put them in the magazines for free. But back then, it was really more about symmetry. I was a little bit ahead of the game. I was one of the bigger bodybuilders at that time. I almost was just a little, maybe 5 years ahead of what was coming. But I still think I had a fairly symmetrical physique, and it got me into the supplement business. I was able to use that notoriety that I gained to be able to get out there and meet people and share people. So, like you, I hit the road every weekend, doing shows and just kind of pushing and showing people what I had developed.
And rumor has it that after a good dose of Training Ground Pre and a good dose of Carbolin, you're still at about 18-inch arms.
I have posted a couple pictures, and people always go, "Is that you?" Well, my body, you got two types of bodies. You have one that they look pumped all the time. Mine, once I get a good dose of carbolin in and I get pumped, my arms will grow 2 or 3 inches. And that's how I was on stage. I'd be able to pump up and look way different than even when you saw me backstage or before I started to pump up. And I think that was kind of one of my advantages. Arnold used to always talk about that being an advantage. So yes, with a good dose of Carbolin mixed with some a little sprinkling of BCAAs, I'm going to show you some pics in about 6 or 7 weeks, because I am going along on the transformation challenge myself. I just started back today, so a test charge has been added back in.
Oh man!
So that ought to be fun. I've been off that for quite some time now, and I should get some really good gains off of it, good responses.
I think you guys heard it here first that Dr. Golini is in the EFX Sports Transformation Challenge.
I admit it, but I'm just going along for the ride. I've actually got 2 guys. One guy that's older than me, he's 62. He's in it, and I got a young guy, non-athletic guy that I'm personally training, and we're going to be showing their pictures and showing their meal plans. Now, they're not they can't participate in the $20,000 prize, but it's all for fun because we have a lot of people that missed the deadline. Matter of fact, I got an email from a guy in Sweden who's doing it. So there's a lot of people who are coming in just for the accountability, and then the next time, they'll make sure they get their applications in on time. But it's fun.
Right.
It's fun. You're in, aren't you?
Oh, I'm in it. Yeah, so is Gabby. Yeah. Gabby's in it too. And we have a lot
Gabby's too? Right on, man.
We have a lot of Bullfrog Nutrition customers that are in. Actually, one was just in here this morning.
Cool.
So
not bad. $20,000, huh, to give away cash prizes.
Yeah, and plus, it's part of it is EFX products. So that's worth at least double, triple the value that you guys listed. So
it's a year's supply, and then you'll be able to come out here, tour the plant. Go into the gym with me. We're going to train, eat. Going to take you to my favorite steak places. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So
okay, there's no way I'm not winning it at this point.
You better win, man. I'm trying to encourage you because I know you've been wanting to get out here. So
okay, so the last thing we'll say is Dr. Golini has 4 new books available. I believe you've been published before, but there are 4 very recent books that have come out. Where can people find the books that you've just recently published, and where can people find maybe just a regular place to follow you?
So the best place to follow me is social media, Dr. Jeff Golini, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm more of a Facebook person. I don't quite get the whole Instagram and Twitter. I do it.
You and me both.
But Facebook makes more sense to me. As far as the books right now, they're just available on efxsports.com. I've got 4, as you said. Been in a book writing mode, so these are Dr. Jeff's health series. I've got about another 9 scheduled for this year. They're just mini books. They're about 50 pages, and they're $4.99. So they're relatively inexpensive for a good amount of data. So if you want to know about how to boost your testosterone, or how to build a lean, mean muscle machine, or you want my 16-week pre-contest diet prep plans, or carb phobia, which is really telling you how to use carbohydrates to grow, then you want to go check it out.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Dr. Jeff. We really appreciate your time.